Hi, Warriors. Good turnaround Tuesday. How you, Mike? Hi, Ryan. How you doing, Bran? Ingmar, John Hawkins, Glenn's here, Blake's here, Kurt Bell, AJ. Okay. So dollar kind of mixed, but the pound is under some pressure. EG continues to perform. You guys remember we talked about this last week, or the week before, the wedge, right? Here it is. So not much of a pullback there, Ryan. Were you able to, flatten out in Euro pound?
No, I chuck some away. I'm keeping a small portion because I'm going to start building some shorts now the ECB are on pause.
Okay.
Um,
You have levels like this seems to be a level.
84, yeah, that 84.60 is the level, and we're trying to break it at the moment. But
And I have
84.80 to 85.20 is my big, huge, massive historical level or zone.
okay,
That's the big one.
okay. What's behind cable weakness this morning?
Crappy jobs data.
Okay.
Long story short,
Yeah.
finally these tax hikes that our nice chancellor put in has hit home. So we're now seeing the injury from herself shooting herself in the foot, and
Okay.
this is it.
All right. Um, Canada, I don't think ever negated that breakdown. Here's the picture I'm looking at. So down here looks like 36. Doable if
Yeah,
the dollar's going to puke again.
still
And
looking dead cattish. That dollar
yeah,
CAD, isn't it? A bit.
yeah, yeah. And Aussie still kind of seems stiff. They bought the dip in Aussie,
Yeah,
so that looks okay. Um, Only change in metals is for the first time silver's unchanged with gold up 9. Normally it'd be up about $50. So here's gold. I don't know. Could still be in a correction here. Uh, I know that everyone probably thinks we're just going to blow to new highs, but I don't know. First, A, B, C, get a B and maybe a C down here. And 37, 38 was big in silver. Metalheads, Stelios put out a blog on the precious metals. Check it out.
yeah.
He's an excellent writer. Plus, he's not just a spectator that writes about it like a reporter. You're reading it from someone who's traded the metals quite well since I've known him. So check it out and edify yourself. Uh, we got a little bit of follow through on this breakout in WTI. It's following through this breakout. Everyone still hates it. We'll see what happens with. I guess the administration's gonna give it another try. They're going to be talking to in Oman through an intermediary and look at. I heard yesterday that Iran's counter proposal wasn't even really a counter proposal because it said they would continue enrichment and that they should focus on the Israeli nuclear program to dismantle it. So I mean, like that they sent back a non-starter. So anyway, that's not a country that wants to do a deal. So the one demand they're not going to meet that. Plus they have another new demand. So just something to keep. I keep thinking. Between Russia and the Middle East, that one day, there'll be something that could occur outside our charts. S&Ps just keep grinding. They're heavy. We haven't made a new high in a while. And the RSI, we've been diverging for, I don't know, a month. Um, NASDAQ, same thing, maybe a little weaker. So I did finally commit to some puts yesterday. We'll see what happens. Um, and that's about it.
We're in the
I
waiting
see.
game.
Yeah. So what are we waiting for?
We're waiting for these China US talks that are happening in London at the moment for the second day. Um, very, very quiet. We've only had sort of piecemeal comments afterwards from Lutnick and Besant. Talks are going well. It's the longer it goes on, the more it's likely that potentially we've got something substantial coming from this. So there's going to be a big headline risk today. There's no data out of
Okay.
note, so there's going to be big headline risk today. You know, if it's good news, probably risk flies, dollar flies.
Okay.
S&P's probably goes to 61,
Yeah.
and if it's bad news, if it's nothing, we're going to talk later, then risk probably gets a big smack. So probably a
Well,
day for sitting on your hands.
yeah. Well, yesterday I had Tony Nash on, and he said, not to get too excited about it, that it's going to be incremental because Xi can't afford to show any weakness, and that he didn't think a deal would get done until August.
Yeah,
So,
you know why I'm thinking something big might be cooking, because Trump's keeping quiet about it. If there was something good going on, he'd be all over Truth Social, and he's not slow to give us the news. But even he's being quiet about this, so who knows?
yeah, uh, you know, uh, Tony's he's a sharp guy. So, just something to keep into consideration. I'd say the biggest factor we have going on in the markets right now is the strawberry full moon, which will be out tonight, where everyone could go out with their wife and their girlfriend and sit on a bench and hold hands and kiss under the strawberry moon.
Get
Doesn't
arrested for
that
that these
sound
days,
nice?
don't you?
What's that?
You get arrested for doing that these days, don't you?
By
Public
who? Your
disclosure of affection, not in
who's
this
pressing?
new world.
Who would be pressing charges? Your wife?
Well, the woke mob. Yeah,
Any-
probably. Yeah, the wife.
All right. Anyway, top of mind for you coming in, Ryan. I know we're looking forward to some inflation numbers this week. What else do you think is going to be a mover to take the dollar out of this range one way or the other? Either take it up here or break down.
Yeah, I think we're obviously going to take this data, and we're gearing up for the central banks next week. We've got the
Yeah.
Fed, we've got the Bank of Japan. So really,
Yeah.
we're a lot of focus is pushing towards that, because we've got, as I say, a bit of lack of data today, and really only the CPI tomorrow. So it's really going to be a lot of headline moves going on. We saw that you had that dollar yen jump up through 145. That stopped me out the rest of my shorts. Friday 145, solid as you
Yeah.
like. Overnight, UADA says starts talking about rate cuts and no room and stuff, and boom, it blows out through for 20 pips, 20 odd pips.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Kind of.
we're in that market again. I said
Yeah.
144 yesterday. That was a level. It needs something more to get it lower than that, and here we are. The pendulum swings again.
Yeah. So it's almost like you have to day trade.
Yeah, and make sure your ass is covered if you're going to bed with
Yeah.
positions on.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. That's a great point. So if you're used to trading without stops when you're in front of the monitor, that's fine. But you should have in this environment some type of fail safe in there.
Yeah,
Even if put something in there, you go, oh, it'll never get hit, and at least you have it there in case something crazy happens.
yeah. I
Yeah.
call it a disaster stop. If I don't know where I'm really putting my stop, I'll put it
Yeah.
somewhere so that if shit does
Yeah.
hit fan, I've got
Yeah.
coverage somewhere.
Yeah. I think a lot of people neglect that, and they sometimes wake up and they're shocked. It's happened to me before.
Yeah,
So why don't we talk about risk with Blake? So Blake, we're going to try new contract highs, or you think we're good? Good morning to you.
Yeah, good
Uh,
morning.
uh, what do you think? I mean, it's a grinder. It's a grinding pullback sideways. It seems
It
like
is, but I
it's
think
waiting for a
Ryan,
catalyst.
but
Yeah,
but yeah, well, that I think Ryan makes a valid point.
China.
We are waiting on what is happening with China and the U.S. in
Yeah.
London right now, and the market's kind of held hostage at this point. I personally, I mean, I like the setup right now as the dollar looks weak. I can take over the charts if you want me to.
I
Um,
just want to show one chart, which,
okay.
because, it's so hard to really be bearish after everything that's happened in the recovery. But check this weekly out. And I don't think it's, uh, probably going to play out this way, but look in the video. Left shoulder, head. I mean, the neckline has a little downward slope, but right
Yeah, I mean,
shoulder.
you have to use your imagination here, but I think it's doable.
Yeah, possible right shoulder. I'm thinking it at least pulls back like to, here 116 or so. Even if it's good, we should have a pullback here.
Well, before we continue this conversation with
Sure.
the with like the dollar, no, well, I'll ask you. I'll take over the charts, and I was going to ask you just about a couple of equities.
Oh, okay.
Um, there was a report, or like a lot of chatter yesterday, and I'm gonna show you guys the chart. And I wanted to ask you about this, Dale. You got Apple that's really, just underperformed, and you
Uh,
can see we're developing this nice
yeah.
little consolidation, nice little triangle. Really, really lacking following the rest of the market. But Apple said yesterday that, I think, just to kind of sum it up, they believe everybody's over their skis as far as AI goes, and thinks that the models are wrong for AI to once things get too complicated for really complex thinking. I don't know all the AI terminology, but basically that people have way too much going or betting on complicated thinking for AI, and that's why AI hasn't kind of gone down that the deep rabbit hole of Apple hasn't gone down the deep rabbit hole of AI thus far. But it's really interesting. You look at Apple and it's really underperformed
Yeah.
the rest of the market. And this is still, last I knew, it's one of the most widely held stocks. And I'm sure there's been some divergence between, or some getting out of Apple into Nvidia type of thing. But how do you feel about Apple at these levels?
Bearish.
Doesn't look
Uh,
good, does it?
no, but the real bearish part of it is this may be one of the Mag 7s that had a confirmed low in April that actually could take it out. So, that a lot of other stocks had the same thing, but
Like what?
but they
I mean,
rebounded. Huh?
like what? Like Meta's had a nice bounce. Google maybe doesn't look so hot.
Yeah, I don't like Google's one of the other weak ones.
Amazon still looks decent. How I should
Eh,
probably delete this stuff because I mean it's consumer related, so it's probably more affected by, you know,
look at
uh
Netflix. We had a throwover negated yesterday in Netflix. So if you draw like a wedge line, it broke out above it and now it's back underneath it. Or you could do it that way.
but I see what
Yeah,
you're
there. Yeah, right. You're a mind
yeah.
reader.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
couple. All right. Well, I think it's worth noting for sure. All right. Well, let's go back and let's talk a little bit about the dollar really quick, because the dollar is one of those that I think is set up really, 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 really well for today. Now, as Ryan was just pointing out, we have China and the US. They're talking in London. And notice how the dollar index just basically came right back up to previous support. It's from 2023. We're just challenging that, resistance. You can say it's channel resistance as well. You know, if you want to just take this blue line, kind of extend it out. We have this descending channel. We hit resistance. I want to show you a couple of things which just drove me absolutely bonkers last night. I put in orders, and we knew we had the UK retail sales, and if you had the UK retail sales and you knew that sterling support was at, and this is, by the way, if you guys don't know what this is, I'm going to just show you. We Myself and Steve, we build this bias chart with our traders every day. So when you listen to the Morning Edge, which is exactly 1 hour from right now, you have to be a Forex Analytics subscriber. We fill out all of this every single day. We go through the analysis of all these pairs, gold, crude, Bitcoin, S&P. We figure out what the bias are, you know, the overall bias. So last night, I put in an order to two orders to buy the euro at 113.50. I went a little bit below this support, and I did 113.70 on the euro for those two support levels. I put in orders last night, and I didn't put in an order for sterling just because I knew that the UK jobs report, I was worried it was going to be a miss, but I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was. But anyway, the low in the euro was 113.72 last night. And it missed my order by 2 pips. And I'm so irritated, Dale. But people like myself, and there's a lot of traders in our community, we trade off of these numbers. We use these support and resistance levels to really trade from. You know, you were talking about earlier when you first came on the show, putting in orders at different levels, or Ryan, you said it. We put in orders around different levels where we want to be buying and selling, and that's what I did last night. I'm so irritated that literally we went to 72, and I put my order in just slightly below that because I thought we were just going to whack some of these stops right here, and
Yeah.
that didn't happen. And so obviously I didn't get triggered to get long. I missed this whole move.
Funnily
But
enough, Blake, funnily
what?
enough, I had this
Yeah.
exact topic on the trade-off today with Michael about levels placement. You never go on your level. You either go ahead of it, in the case if you're buying, or you go obviously below it in the case of stops.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
That
you know
that's
that
a good rule. That's a good rule, Ryan, because if you believe in the number, why are you trying to buy it underneath the number?
exactly.
well, see, I was thinking that we were just gonna whack some stops so this way,
Oh,
just
you
us
need to
being a
bring a
little clever.
note. You need to bring a note from your wife tomorrow
Do
about
you
buy.
want do you guys want to
Huh?
hear something really interesting?
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you an interesting statistic. Do you guys remember you guys remember when we worked with the Gelber Group? This is a prop firm out of well, they have an office in
yeah,
New York and
yeah.
Chicago.
They were looking for candidates.
Right. We I did
Challenge.
the challenge with 40 other traders that they took in applications, you know, and we did the whole trading thing last year. And a few of our traders, and matter of fact, one of them who's probably listening in right now, he ended up going with a different prop firm. But needless to say, he was going to get followed up with Gelber, and he ended up going with a different firm. Anyway, needless to say, I was talking to the guys at Gelber, and we were talking about the technology because I was using their trading platform that they use, which is TT Trader. And because I've never used that platform. Even when I was trading for Gelos, I used JP Morgan institutional platform. I didn't use theirs, or TT Trader or whatever it is. And I was trying to figure out how to put in buy orders, like you know, market orders. And I go, how often do you guys use market orders? You know, the statistic that they told me, which I thought was really wild. Only 5% of the time do their traders use market orders.
Huh.
95% of the time they are using limit orders. So what does that tell you about what, These are professional prop traders with, that drive to the office every day. They have Bloombergs on their computer like I used to. What does that tell you?
They truly have conviction about their numbers.
They are planning what they're trading and they are
Yeah.
putting in orders where they want to get in and only that. So, you guys want a little lesson from the professional community? You just got it. This is what traders do. We find levels that we want to be involved in and we get involved at those levels. We're not, sitting here going, look, Euro's breaking out. I'm going to go ahead and buy Euro right now. You know, 2 minutes ago,
Mhm.
just go, I'm going to buy the Euro. And then you get FOMO'd in right at the highs. That's not what pros do. Pros get in where they want to get in. And that's why when you're utilizing Forex Analytix and you're utilizing like these levels, you go, hey, I know this is a really critical level of support. I know this is a really critical level of resistance. I'm going to get in around there. Why do I know that that's a really, really key level of resistance? Because we discussed it yesterday and we figured out where it was at. Oh, I wanted to short dollar CAD at 137.10 yesterday. You know what the high was yesterday in the dollar CAD? I think it was
37.10.
137.07, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
This was yesterday, not today. Yesterday, I think it was 137.09 yesterday. That's after the fact. That's after we did the bias chart. We were doing the bias chart somewhere down here yesterday. So
Yeah.
you're like, if you would have picked that off, I mean, you made a quick 40 pips. It's just identifying where you want to be involved in the market and trading at those levels. So it's
I have a little different philosophy, and both of them are right, I think. If I'm sitting there in front of the platform and I have a level I want to get in, um, just like you had on Abel's on limit orders, if I'm there and I'm looking for maybe a 150 pip swing on something, risking 50, I don't care if I pay 2 pips more. I'd rather know I'm in the trade than sit around waiting to be filled and then possibly be unable because I'm not in the trade for 2 pips.
if you're sitting there watching it, yes. I think if you're sitting there watching it, yes.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
yeah.
you can't go at the market if you're not watching it.
Right. Well, like if you see an order coming in,
Yeah.
and I'm with you, Dale. I understand what you're saying, but sometimes we
Yeah.
don't have that luxury. It's
Yeah.
in a 24-hour market. But I hear exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, the fact of the matter is, or the point I'm trying to make is, figure out where you guys want to be involved in the market, and we call it target trading. That's what we in the Forex Analytics community. You'll hear me
You're
say it all the
breaking
time.
you're breaking up a little bit for me today, Blake. I
Am
don't
I?
know if anyone else.
Did Ryan? Am I breaking up over on your end?
No, you're right, but I had a little wobble just a minute ago. My internet went out and I've
Oh,
had to reconnect.
oh,
So
everybody says it's good. Everybody else says it's
It's got to
fine.
be
Okay.
me. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
good.
it might be you. Yeah, that's what happens when it's 105 degrees out and you're probably losing some electricity over there. Uh,
Uh, I
yeah,
know.
having a little bump.
Uh,
Anyway, going back to what I was saying, one of the things about what we talk about all the time here is target trading. Target trading is pick your targets, pick your levels, and be involved in those levels. It is hard sometimes, especially when you have like days like today and days like yesterday. It's like I want something to happen. I want to be involved. I want to get, and it's easy to get sucked into the market. It's easy to fall into that trap. But days like today and days like, what we've seen over the last like couple of weeks, it's really imperative to practice some discipline, figure out where you want to be, set alarms. Some of us use TradingView. One of the things I love about TradingView is being able to set up alarms at different spots. And I get notified all day long, oh, there's a level, and then I can start watching it. So, and then, obviously, if you're using Forex Analytics, we have our support and resistance levels. When they trigger, it sends you a text or your push notification if you have the mobile app. Does send you an email, text, all that other stuff. You can actually customize all that. You go over here to settings, and you can say, oh, I want to be, get notified for different currencies. You can actually grab currency. You could say, I don't really care about uh the boond because I don't trade that. So I'm gonna put it over here and mute the boond because I don't care about it. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I want to get notified in my browser, email when there's a pattern in play, that type of thing. So anyway,
Great,
yeah.
great technology. I mean, you guys put a lot of effort into. Really, you don't have to leave the site.
Thanks. It's making it individualized for every trader because we're all different. We have different, needs and whatnot. But the point I'm trying to make is when you're trading, let's try to practice some more, especially days like today where we're waiting. We're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting. Find the levels you want to be involved and get involved in those levels. It's so important. Um,
Can I
okay.
pinch it? Can I pinch the
Yeah,
screen quickly? Because
I was
I'll
gonna
give people a bit of a spoiler on what I did on the trade off this morning. You can see that, okay? Make sure it comes up.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So this, Dale, you know this. What were my levels in euro dollar? 112, 115. Okay.
right.
We
Yeah,
got the 112 test late May. What did it get down to? 112.07. Okay. If you were
yeah.
trading at if you had a bid in at 112, you weren't getting filled. And then you miss out on that all the way to 115 potentially. The same on the upside. If I want to short
14,
115, okay, we've got
14.95.
95. If you put your orders bang on levels, you're going to miss out. And then you miss out on all this. Okay. So I know that I will put my trades in 10, 15 pips ahead of the level I want to trade because I don't want to miss a trade for 10 fucking pips because then you're going to be really upset. So that's why I say you get in ahead of your level. You try and get in ahead of your level. Even if you want to half the trade, put half on there, put half on another 5 pips or thirds and put a bit on your level. Okay. I'd rather be in a little bit making that move than being nothing and saying, why did I miss out on that trade? And the other way also with stops. Take big figures. We use the 80-20 rule, where if a price is going to, like Blake said, he wanted to look for a little bit of a flush in his level in euro dollar. Round big figures, you often get a move stop run 20 pips below the level in this case. So down to 111.80. So you don't want to put your stop on that because you don't want to get a flush. You get a long at 112, your stop's at 111.80, you get pinged on your stop, and then the market rallies. So go under that 80-20 rule. But you should do that with your stops on any level. Get it a bit out the way where if the level breaks, you build yourself a bit of room because you want to just try and stay in the trade. And that's how I trade my levels. I always tend to go ahead of a level, a fib, moving average, whatever line I decide I want to stick on my chart. I'm not going to trade that. I'm going to trade as close as I can. But if I want to trade 1360, I've got these lows here at 68. So I might start buying it from 70 or just above there, 75, because I don't want to fail in getting on a trade. I want to give myself the best chance to get in the trade so I don't miss it. And then like Blake is, oh shit, why didn't I grab it a little bit earlier? But that's trading. Everyone picks their levels where they want to enter. You live and die by your trade. I got stopped out dollar CAD at the low of the week last week. Shit
Happens to everybody.
happens to everybody.
Yeah,
All
it sure
this is
does.
about, and I'm sure Blake and you will echo, it's about giving yourself the best opportunity to trade your level. What's going to get you in the trade, give you a chance to get that trade rather than missing out or getting stopped when you needn't get stopped and blowing the trade that way. So anyway, there's a little spoiler.
Yeah, it's like being penny wise and pound foolish.
Yeah, that's an old saying. Cool, I had to think about that one for a
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah. Anyway, real nice mentoring, Ryan. Very nice.
Thanks, guys, and same likewise for you guys. You know, we all have different ways of trading, but our methods all follow the same sort of paths, don't they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you believe in your trading if you're front running yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Huh?
There you
Anyway.
go.
Do you wanna grab it
So
back?
yeah,
Uh,
Dale, you have an interview today?
no, in fact, everyone keep a good thought for Dick Matthews, and he
Oh.
just is not feeling up to it. So, I think he's still struggling. So keep an eye out for, good thought, a prayer for Dick, and hope he's back in the rotation soon.
Yeah, I have a meeting scheduled with him in a couple of weeks too, so
Yeah,
I'll make sure I circle back
yeah,
with him and follow up with him. Um, Dale, it is a slow day. So let me just talk about a couple of things really quick before we go. As far as the markets go. So, and one thing I didn't get to finish talking about is I want to tell you, since these levels held, and notice that the dollar, even sterling, we
yeah,
hit the breakout point, and it's a weak jobs report, and sterling still held its breakout point last night. It went to 134.50 and held it.
okay,
Now, if you shorted sterling because it was a shit jobs report, you shorted it last night. You're thinking right now, damn, I don't this is not good, right? I'm like I shorted, like, let's say you shorted it last night, or I say last night for Ryan, it could have been this morning. You shorted it on a breakdown, and you're like, this is it. I mean, because it was, I mean, the data was not good. I mean, if you guys didn't see, whoops, let me go to the calendar here. If you guys didn't see the data, I mean, look at the jump in jobless claims, and average earnings index went down dramatically. I mean,
wow.
that's
It's,
not
like
good data.
recession numbers.
Yeah, I mean, unemployment did tick up as expected, but the data is not great, and especially with the average hourly earnings coming up, because everybody's like, "Well, is the Bank of England, are they going to be able to, do they have to be more hawkish?" And this is kind of gives them the flexibility of not. So anyway, if you shorted sterling right after the data, right now at this moment, you're down a little bit, and you're like, "Oh, damn, what?" I can't believe we're already back at previous support. We're already back here. So what happens if the US and China, you know, you know, shit falls apart? And we Ryan, you made some points earlier that it could. China might have to show, their grit a little bit, or Dale, I think you said it earlier. I'm sorry, I said
Yeah,
Ryan.
that's all right.
Yeah, but let's say, you know, China and the US, they, nothing gets done. They part ways, and like, oh, great talks, but there's nothing significant. And the market starts selling dollars. I mean, look at the euro. The euro hit support. It's the euro still in breakout territory. It's still outside of this
Yeah,
triangle, right? So now the dollar starts to squeeze lower, and you see the euro squeezing higher towards 115. Sterling's going to trade right back up towards its highs of the day. You got the Aussie that's in its wedge, and it held wedge support overnight. You got the Kiwi that's not backing off. You got the dollar Canadian that's sitting below 137 still. We couldn't break 137.40, which was our key
yeah,
resistance, as you can see right. Whoops, wrong way, wrong way, wrong way. Okay. You can see in the bias chart that was 137.40. We couldn't overcome that, and we fell right back below 137 again. Dollar yen had a false breakout last night above triangle resistance. The dollar is set up for a
the fall.
sell-off today.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's set up for a sell-off today. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but if we do not get good news out of China US trade talks today out of the UK, and they start selling the dollars, I think that could be a catalyst that gets people, you know, I know CPI is tomorrow, and I know producer prices on Thursday, but you're going to get people that preemptively bought the dollar for hot data tomorrow that they're going to get out. They're going to get taken out. So I think the euro is at risk at this point of trading close to 115 versus trading back towards 114 at this point. And especially, if things don't go well later today, which Ryan, do you have any information on the timeline before we let everybody go here?
Uh, no, I don't have an update on the timeline. I think it's whenever it is.
They're at lunch
Again,
right now, right?
yeah, another lunch probably. Gone for some pie mash down Tower Bridge Road. But yeah, it's still striking me that they're really into these talks. So there must be something coming, and the longer it goes, the more the market's going to get expectant, and hence the bigger the reaction is going to be when we know either way. So yeah, I'm not certainly looking to trade anything risk related until we get that out of the way.
When do you
Okay.
think we'll get that out of the way, Ryan?
No idea. It could happen anytime. They could come back for
Yeah,
lunch and say, "Yeah, deal's
yeah,
done," or "No, we're breaking up because we can't agree anything." We're open to Mr. Trump dropping it on truth bomb or a
yeah.
headline flashing up on the wires, and got no time.
Going back to sterling, Live Squawk just posted that traders fully priced two more Bank of England rate cuts this year. So just obviously due to the employment report and the earnings coming off pretty good, and the claimant count change going up, just some things that are going to weigh on sterling. All right, well, guys, it is, today's a wait and see. Tomorrow is CPI, and CPI is going to be a mover tomorrow. And the best way to take advantage of it, check out the trader funding program. If you want instant funding, instant. You're like, I need more capital to trade now. Well, you can check out Trader Funding Program, see what's available to you. You got immediate funding, or you want to go the more economical route, check the one-step assessment plans. This video right here is new. That video I recorded a month ago. So just a couple weeks old, few weeks old. Click on that video. You can learn more about it. Dale, I think we can wrap it up for the session.
Okay, well, I think we made a lot out of nothing today. Congratulations, guys. Very creative
Something
analysis
else my
today.
wife tells me.
Anyway,
Dance, monkey, dance.
it's always great hanging out with you guys, no matter what the vol levels are. So, yeah, we took the time to teach, and that can be much more valuable than just a good trade because that'll lead to good trades, plural. So, great session. And tomorrow, we'll approach
Tomorrow
those
we'll have
numbers.
Stelios here. He's gonna he's
Stel,
gonna he's gonna do victory laps on silver.
okay. Well, I never mind seeing my friends do well. I'm
That's right.
happy, so because all of us have had our tough times too.
Dude,
So
do you know how bullish he was? I mean, you were here obviously.
yeah,
When silver was at 15, 18,
yeah,
he told us years ago, like he's
yeah,
like, dude, why I don't know why everybo's not buying the shit out of silver right now. I mean,
yeah,
I went and bought physical at that point because he
yeah.
was so committed to it, or so enthusiastic about it. So anyway,
Well,
I like to harass him
want to
because he
hear
likes.
something funny
What's
that
that?
I did too, and a decent amount. And my best trade so far this year is being long physical from 21. And you know why? Because you can't just hit a sell button.
Yeah,
That's why I'm still in it.
yeah,
I'm telling
true.
you, it's the only reason, Blake. Because you get a hernia picking it up and stuff. And, what a hassle to sell. It's something you buy and keep. But that's my best trade this year.
You need a security
Anyway,
guard to take you down there.
because I couldn't touch it. Anyway, it's pretty
Yeah,
funny. It's
that is
it's
funny.
ironic. Uh, okay, everyone. So have a great Tuesday. Enjoy the strawberry moon. Have a little ice cream tonight, and it's going to be we'll rock and roll tomorrow. Okay, so don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Spread the word about the team here to people that you know might need a little help or are interested in beginning to get involved. Because I still have put this challenge out for 9 years now. Show me a better 1 hour free show on the net, or I tell you what, even a paid show that does what we do for our community. I'd really like to see if it's out there that brings in guests that other people would consider competitors, and we consider allies to help our community do better no matter their choice where they go. And that we believe our work holds up to anyone else that we bring in. So we're not afraid of the competition. There's something to be said in that because I don't think anyone else does that. Do you guys? Give me a why
No.
if you think there are other people that do that.
No,
I,
that's
I
why I get that I've asked a lot of people, I'm like, why don't you have me on your show? And they're like, dude, you're our competitor. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't give a
yeah.
shit.
They
Like,
won't.
like
They
you come on our
they.
show, like
Yeah, I know. They won't even give you a retweet. So
no.
anyway, so uh, that's great. Please stop dreaming about me, Ingmar. Anyway, all right. Listen, guys, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds
And
good.
spend the
Thanks.
buck,
Thanks.
spend the buck, and be in there for the inflation news tomorrow. Adios. See you, Scott.
Cheers, Dale.
Bye.